G'day, I'm Alex Bodle, a Southland BD rep for Halter. I'm here today with Abe de Wolde, who farms down here in central Southland, has just adopted Halter in October last year before mating, and we're going to hear a bit from Abe today, but I'll just pass you over to Abe and let him introduce himself and explain a bit about what they're about here on farm.
So I'm Abe de Wolde, and we're farming in central Southland. We've got 5 farms in the area, and we farm 4,500 cows.
Abe, what was behind getting Halter on farm? What was your main decision process behind that, and why Halter?
So we got, of the 5 farms, we have 1 farm that's actually a bit more like a trial farm for other farms, if you like. So we do try new stuff on that farm. So we had another wearables before. We switched to Halter because of the grazing features. And because we found, like with the sensors, sometimes the sensors wear out and then actually nothing happens. So you miss cows because the sensor died basically, and that's not really good.
And in terms of this, you've just come into your first season with mating with Halter. How did this mating season compare to previous ones before having Halter?
So this mating actually has been better. So we've got 5 farms in the area, as I said, and it was better on all our farms. But the Halter farm was also ahead of the other farms. So our conception rate was 4% higher than last year, but also our in-calf rates for 3 weeks and for 6 weeks were 5% higher for the 3-week in-calf rate and 2.5% higher still in the 6-week in-calf rate.
Is that across the board on all your Woldwide farms?
That's the Halter farm compared to the average of the other 4.
Awesome. And what were some of the biggest challenges you used to face during mating season, and how did Halter, if it did, help ease these?
With the sensor technology, when the sensor dies, actually the cow doesn't get mated. So it was also always that you had to keep track of, make sure that they're all still going. And Halter, because the solar panels, they just keep going, so that's better.
And what did you do differently this season compared to when you didn't have Halter?
Oh, the whole grazing management. So I'm not really doing the pasture management on farm, but the grazing management is completely different now than what it used to be. Yeah.
Obviously a lot goes into mating and getting your cows and calf on farm. What does the management look like now under Halter, and how's that contributed?
Hopefully our calving pattern is going to be better next spring as a result. And what I found over the years, so your cows get later and then they're empty, so it'll help empty rates later on as well. So I'm really a fan of just have a short compact calving.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to help that a lot. Yeah.
And with Halter and our Pasture Pro model, how have you found the accuracy with this on farm with your pasture readings?
Yeah, really good. Yeah. So the same there. So because we've got the 5 farms in the area, you can compare. So we do 600 solids per cow. So you have to make sure they're fully fed every day. And if they're not, then you notice it immediately. So it's actually quite hard to make sure that your cows are fully fed and that your residuals are right. And I find on the other farms often you either waste feed that you have to top, or you underfeed your cows, but with Halter we get it pretty much bang on.
What systems and herd management changes did you make during pre-mating, or how did Halter impact or play into these decisions? And I understand pre-mating we only actually put the Halter collars on about 12 days prior to mating,
yeah.
But was there any changes within your mob sizes and things like that, or anything?
No, we didn't really change anything, but the good thing is we just basically immediately we just fully trusted Halter, so we have not been double guessing it, and so it saved the labour unit basically.
What changes did you notice, and how much time you and your team spent on mating related tasks?
So on mating related tasks, like the immediate labour saving is that we didn't have to tail paint the cows. So we didn't do that, and no one was actually sitting behind the cows either looking for scratch tail paint or scratches. And so it's immediate time saving really. Yeah.
And what did the team do with this time instead? Cup of coffee?
I think so. Like I think the extra time disappeared, but it must have gone into well-being, I think.
Yeah, cool. And that's what we need at that time of the year, isn't it?
I think so. It was a tough spring in the south anyway, last spring in Southland, so it came in really good. Yeah.
Have you noticed a difference in the condition of your cows due to Halter, due to better overall management with Halter?
So the condition of the cows has not really changed, because when you want your cows to do 600 solids, the condition has to be right anyway, like all the way. And so that was pretty good already, so we couldn't really see any improvement. I did find that the pasture utilisation will be better. Obviously it's early days yet, we're only halfway through the first season, but it looks promising at this stage.
And if you had to sum up the impact of Halter on your first mating season in a few words, what would you say?
$25,000. Because basically I had the farm advisor work it out what the sort of immediate benefit was, and he says about $25,000 for that farm, 900 cow farm. That's not counting any cows that would otherwise be empty maybe. That's just your extra days in milk as a result of Halter compared to the other farms.
Cool, and you'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's good.
And what advice would you give to a farmer considering Halter?
Well, that's tricky. Every farm is different, obviously. So it would have to match the individual farm. But I think it's important that your people are ready for it, that they can actually manage it properly. And I think when you go ahead with it, make sure that you trust it fully. Don't try to double guess it. That would be my advice.
This year you've got 5 farms down here in central Southland, and obviously just rolled out Halter on one of your farms. Where do you see Halter fitting in your business going forward on the other farms? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, so going forward, I think Halter will be pivotal in grazing management in the future. Like, it's just a matter of time, but it will happen. And so we got Halter for basically for the extra pasture utilization and for the cow side. So we haven't really counted on any labor saving, but I think that will come out of the woodworks as well. So in long term, I think we'll be able to save on labor and just farming cows better. Yeah, it fits in right with what we try to do anyway.